So here we have the question, give the reason for the following. We have two questions. In the first question is given, school bells are made up of metals. Why the school bells are made up of metal? Okay, give the reason for this question. So as you know, the metals are what? Metals have one property, that metals are what? Sonorous. Sonorous means what? Whenever they will strike to any hard surface, they produce the sound. So this is the property. Because of this property, school bells are made up of what? Metals. Okay. And second question is given, that electric wires are made up of what? Copper. Why the electric wires are made up of copper? Because the copper is the good conductor of electricity. Because of this reason, these electric wires are made up of what? Copper. These two questions you can give the answer, and next question will go for that now. What is the next question now? Write the example. Write the one example of each of the following. So first question we have here, a metal which is so soft, it can be cut with a knife, and a non-metal which is the hardest substance. In this we have two questions. For first question they given that a metal which is very soft. So as you know, we have the two metals, sodium and potassium. They are very soft, and which we can cut with a knife also. So we can write the answer for this is what? Sodium or potassium, anyone you can write. And one more question they are asking here, non-metal which is the hardest substance. So the non-metal, that is the diamond. Diamond is the allotrope of carbon, which is the hardest substance, and it is the non-metal. So here is the answer. We have what? Sodium and carbon, nothing but diamond. Second question they are asking here, a metal and a non-metal which exists as a liquid at room temperature. So you have to give the name of the metal which is liquid. So the answer is for this, mercury is the metal which is liquid at a room temperature. And the non-metal which is also liquid, the answer is that bromine. The bromine is a non-metal which exists as a liquid at a room temperature. So there are the two questions. Let us go for the third question now. What is cinnabar? How is metal extracted from the cinnabar? Explain briefly. So cinnabar is actually the ore of mercury. What is cinnabar? Cinnabar is the ore of mercury. Okay, from the cinnabar we can obtain the mercury. That's why it is called what? Ore of mercury. So mercury we can obtain from the cinnabar. Mercury is obtained from the cinnabar. So what is meant by roasting? So if you want to extract the mercury from the cinnabar, we have to heat, or we can say the process we have to follow, roasting. So whenever cinnabar is heated strongly in the presence of excess air, whenever cinnabar is heated in the presence of what? Excess air, then it is converted into what? Mercuric oxide. First it is converted into what? Mercuric oxide. That is what? HgO. And then further heating, this mercuric oxide will be reduced to mercury. Here we have the equation. There is Hgs plus 3O2 give rise to HgO plus 2SO2. This HgO, that is called a mercuric oxide, we have to do further heating. So further heating, this mercuric oxide will be reduced to mercury and will get oxygen. In that way you can write the answer for this question. The next question we have. So the next question, write the electron dot structure for the potassium and chloride. Show the formation of potassium chloride by the transfer of electron. And the third question is that name the ion present in the compound KCl. Okay, so here let us write the answer for this one. Electron dot structure for the potassium. So remember that sodium symbol is Na. We have one dot. Potassium also we have K1 dot, as well as sodium, potassium, and calcium. Calcium you have to remember that is Ca, we have two dots. And magnesium you have to remember, magnesium, that we have two dots. And aluminium we have three dots. There is Al, three dots. This sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, these five metals, electron dot structure we have to remember, because all these five, any one will come in your exam. Here they are asking only the sodium, and here they are asking that write the electron dot structure of potassium and chlorine. So potassium and chlorine. The answer for this potassium, as just now I said that potassium, that is K, we have one dot, and chlorine symbol is Cl we have seven dots. Okay, so this is the electron dot structure of chlorine, and this is the electron dot structure of potassium. Likewise, non-metal, There is one more non-metal you have to remember, sulfur. That sulfur we have 6 dots, as well as oxygen. You have to remember oxygen we have what, 6 dots. So these are the 3 non-metals. In this, out of 3, 1 will come in your exam. Okay, so chlorine we have 7 dots. The first answer is completed. Now we are going to learn about the second answer. Show the formation of potassium chloride. So we have to formation of potassium chloride we have to explain by the transfer of electron. So potassium, you know, there is only 1 electrons, and chlorine you have 7 electrons. So potassium will give 1 electron to the chlorine. So potassium will lose the electron. When potassium lose 1 electron, it become what, a plus ion, and chlorine will gain the electron. Chlorine is gaining 1 electrons from the potassium. Chlorine is gaining 1 electron. It become what, a minus. So chlorine become minus and K become what, plus. And here we have to write name the ions present in the compound. So what are the ions present? So potassium ion is K plus, and chlorine ion is what, a Cl minus. So in this way you can able to solve this question. This is the most important question. Many times this kind of questions coming in your board exams. So here we have 3 questions. State the electron dot structure for calcium and a sulfur. Second question, show the formation of calcium sulfide by the transfer of electrons, and name the ions present in this compound. Atomic number is already given here. Okay, so let us find out the first answer. So here we have electron dot structure for the calcium. So calcium electron dot structure, here they given the atomic number. So we can write in electronic configuration 2, 8, 8, 2. Okay. So 2 plus 8, 10, 10 plus 8, 18, 18 plus 2, 20. So the last shell having 2 electrons. So therefore the electron dot structure for the calcium will get here 2 dots. Similarly, sulfur they given here 16. Atomic number is 16. So we can write here 2, 8, 2, 8 plus 2, 10, 10, 6 we have to write here. So 6 means outer shell consists of 6 electrons. Therefore sulfur we have a 6 dots. At its outermost shell we have 6 electrons. So sulfur 6 dots, and calcium we have a 2 dots. Let us go for now second question. Show the formation of what, calcium sulfide by the transfer of what, electrons. So we know that calcium we have 2 dots, and sulfur we have 6 electrons. So what we can do now, calcium will give 2 electrons to the sulfur. So the calcium is losing 2 electrons. So the calcium is become what, 2 plus ion, and sulfur is gaining the 2 electrons. So sulfur is become what, 2 minus ion. Sulfur is gaining how many electrons? 2 electrons gaining. So the sulfur become 2 minus ion. Or we can write like this, CaS, calcium sulfide. What is the third question they are asking? Name the ions present in this compound. So what are the ions? Just now we got ions. That first ion is what, calcium 2 plus, and sulfur we have what, 2 minus. So these are the 2 ions present in this compound. So let us go for the next question now. Listen, the next question is about the, write the electron diagram for the chlorine, atomic number 17, and calcium, atomic number 20. Okay, so here the first answer we are going to write. So the first answer, so here we are going to write first answer, that is the calcium and chlorine. What we are going to write, electron dot structure. So calcium we have atomic number is 20. So we can write 2, 8, 8, 2. The last shell having 2 electrons. Therefore we can write the calcium. We have how many dots? 2 dots. Because outermost shell consists of what? 2 electron. Similarly, we are going to learn now what? Chlorine. For the chlorine, Cl. So chlorine atomic number here given what? 17. So we can write 2, 8, 8, 8 plus 8, 16 plus 2, 18. So here we can write here 7 electrons. 2, 8, 10, 10 plus 7, 17. So the last shell consists of 7 electrons. So we can write Cl having how many dots? 7 dots, means 7 electron in its outermost shell. So this is the calcium 2 dots, chlorine we have 7 dots. Let us go for now second question. What is the second question? We have a formation of calcium chloride by the transfer of electron. So already you know that the Ca, calcium, we have 2 electrons, and chlorine we have 7 electrons. Okay, so but calcium can donate 2 electrons and chlorine can gain only 1 electron. So what we are going to do, let us take one more atom of chlorine. One more atom of chlorine we are going to take, so that one calcium electrons will transfer to the one atom of chlorine and another electron will transfer to another atom of chlorine. It means we can say that calcium is losing 2 electrons. Here 2 electron lose, it means it become what, 2 plus ion, and chlorine is gaining only 1 electron, because however there are 2 atoms are there. There are 2 atoms are there. So 2 atoms means you can write here 2, but they are gaining only 1 electrons. So here we have to write what, minus, and here we can write 8 dots, because 1 electrons is gained. So this is the formula we got here, CaCl2. This is the calcium chloride. And what is the next asking? Identify the nature of the above compound. Nature means what? Whether this compound, what is the name of this compound? So this calcium chloride is called what? Ionic compound. Which compound is a ionic compound? Why? Because you know that ionic compound means what? The compound is formed by transfer of electron. So this compound is formed by transfer of what? Electron. Because of this reason they are called what? Ionic compound. Next, what they said here, explain the 3 physical properties of such compound. So we have to write the 3 physical properties of ionic compound. The first property is what? It is solid and hard. Ionic compounds are what? Solid and hard. Second property is what? This ionic compounds having a high melting point and a boiling point. Second property is what? High melting point and boiling point. And the third property we can write here, that they are soluble in water. Ionic compounds, all the ionic compounds are soluble in water.